Hello boys, Cool Yoshi here, and as you can see off screen, I managed to beat Nitrous Oxide on the Blizzard buff course. It actually didn't take that long. I got a very easy, the trick 3 times in a row, and now I kinda had to suck. And now I finished that, so anyways, welcome back to, CTR Racing Nitro Field 100%. In the last episode, we left off going into the Glacier Peak area and doing all the time trials there, but Dragon Mines gave us a problem, so it took a longer time than expected. So now we're moving on to Hot Air Skyway, and interestingly enough, this one has a really interesting ghost on it. Now, right. So, yeah. So, anyways, we left off doing the time trials. We have to, of course, beat the time trials as well as unlock, defeat End Trophy and Nitrous Oxide on each course. At least that's the way we're doing it. I'm gonna actually let this play for a minute while I check this. Okay, and now I'll skip it. So, Hot Air Skyway's Beanox crate is located in the lower right. So, Hot Air Skyway's Beanox crate is located pretty much at the end of the track. This is not quite as hard as the other track, because there's hardly any shortcuts you could do at all. It's all on your drifting, which of course means it's going to be a little bit tricky. So you might see right around there that there may spot a thing coming off the jump, but I'll actually show you where it is. There's the Beanox crate. You have to fall off the side to get it. There's quite a few ways to get it. There's the reverse strategy, and then there's the strategy I'm gonna do, which is just fall off and get it. You'll then get respawned on the other side here, and then you'll be able to get it. So, one thing that I didn't mention is that if you actually fail one of the ghosts, by going a little too slow at the beginning, it's possible to not actually unlock the End Trophy ghost right away, and that's what happened to me, so I have to do kind of a different strategy this time around. So unless there's like a shortcut in some of the courses, I'm gonna potentially go for a different strategy where I don't get it in single race or anything else. I'll still get the Beanox crate and time trials, but now I have to reset a little bit earlier than previously attempted, because otherwise I won't be able to do really well. Because if I don't get a fast enough time, I won't actually unlock End Trophy from the beginning, so you have to get a fast enough time so that End Trophy gets opened up, otherwise it doesn't work. So that is one thing that I will do. Keep in mind, there's still lots of stuff left in this game. This is just the beginning of it. Once we get through the normal CTR racing experience, we have to go through the Nitro Kart tracks and then the CTR racing bonus tracks afterwards, so there's quite a bit to do. And it just makes the entire experience a very tricky measure to get done correctly. It's definitely something that you need to worry about. But yeah, so the main thing I do here is slight brake drift at the very end, because without that, the hairpin would take forever and be a really bad turn for Dingodile, so we need to do that as backup to do that turn really well. As for this, I kind of just do this and then jump around, and it seems to work the best. It's probably not the best strategy. Coco probably will be easier for this track as a result, but I can't, I don't want to do that. I want to use Dingodile, not Coco, because that would be kind of silly if I changed characters. Of course, I'm not sure anybody will mind me just using Dingodile. There are probably plenty of other videos of people using a bunch of other different characters, and each one of them has their own favorite. I, for one, like Dingodile, so it's not really any different, like a different character, so yeah.
Mate, you call that racing?
So, I did that just to make sure everything was going right, and we got a challenge completed. So, I found out that there are daily, weekly, and pro challenges that pop up every so often or not, and you can basically choose to do that. I could have actually opened them from the beginning. A little bit of a mistake, but yeah, I'm guessing if I have like really bad Beanox crates to go for in the future, I might just restart after I get in on the first lap just to make it easier, because Blizzard buff, I actually did not initially unlock the end trophy time as a result of a couple of things. So, it's quite tricky, to say the least. But back to another track with hardly anything but just really tight turns and minor tricks, and that's it. Nothing really else here. And Trophy, of course, being not the best and going around the long way on that turn instead of the fast way, so we get an advantage early on. Yeah. Now, if I was doing this run, like, not actually trying to PB and doing other stuff, there is a secondary Dragon Ride strategy I was going to potentially try if I really needed to back up. If I had the ability to switch to other characters, then I would either change Dingodile's set to be acceleration instead of turning, just so that I can have the extra bit of turning I need to do that really hard turn, or I could switch to Coco. In fact, if it was the original game, I would switch to Coco just for Dragon Mines, just because she happens to have that good enough turning to the point where we can do that one nasty turn really good. Otherwise, if I do it with Dingodile, it just ends up really terrible, and it's not good. But obviously, to stay true to the original, I wanted to challenge myself to do all the stuff with just a speed boost, but I never clearly mentioned whether or not I could do other stuff. So, I guess one thing I'm gonna say to the audience, if I meet a very tough track like that again, and speed just isn't working, I'll go for acceleration just for that one track. Because you can change your build in this game at any point to acceleration, speed, or anything you want. And it doesn't waste any time. And Trophy's so far behind that I can take that fall and still win. This might be another one of those easy Oxide times, but again, Emperor Field times will be much tougher. I'm not going to do any of the Emperor Field times, obviously, because I already mentioned that they basically optimize the attack with Emperor Field as best as they can, so beating Emperor Field pretty much requires the perfect line to get through it all, and usually a speed setup in order to get it to work. Also, pretty classic here. My first run of this is my PB right now, and then trying to do it again. I just can't seem to PB anymore. It's really weird, but hey. And sure enough, Oxide, I am 6 seconds faster on my PB. You know, if I struggle to beat Soa, but one of my faster times beats Oxide, I should actually turn on my Ghost on occasion, just to help me figure out which line I took, just so that I could do stuff better. Of course, I got the 08 because I was failing miserably on the second turn, or the circle turn, rather. I will say, Oxide is still a challenge at almost every track. There's hardly any room for error the first time you play, but when you know what to do on the track, it's pretty simple. It's mostly just based off of which track it actually is on. So there, I did kind of bad, so I'm behind Oxide right now, but I'm perfectly fine, to be honest. I've never gotten that boost before, so that's a new one. So you want to drift in mid-air to get a good boost here. Otherwise, it'll be very tricky. This is probably where I'll make most of my time up against Oxide, because he's more than likely to bonk into the wall there at least a couple of times. Remember when I was falling off that spot before? Oh yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. Also, I did a little jump trick this time just to make sure I kept the pink a little bit, because I think that's better than trying to drift around that. Obviously, if I didn't do that, I probably would have gotten hit right then and there. Okay, keeping the fire a little bit better around that turn, so this turn's already going a lot better. Even if it's just a little bit showdown, it's still really good. In fact, I'm really glad they added that brake drift. Without that brake drift, it would be so hard to do the tracks here. They added that just to make the game more fun, and it's probably because of that that speed is so fast build now, because it's just really cool. Okay, I could go for a drift here, but this is where I have to jump. Oh, jeez. I barely kept it around that turn. And in case you're wondering, the speed run of that has to do that jumping almost everywhere whenever they turn, and it's too much, just to keep their speed around the turn. And of course, remember, an ideal scenario uses the pink trick to pretty much keep pink for the entire race, which is normally not possible in the original game. You usually lose it by a specific point. Wow. Nearly sub 3 minutes there. So good, man. That was fun. I like it. If the volume's too loud, don't worry. You can always tear down your mics later. But I doubt that'll happen. Okay, now Cortex Castle. Cortex Castle is one of the easier ones to get. I could probably actually get this and still go decently fast, because when I saw it last, it was not necessarily the hardest. Yeah, see, it literally is right along the main path. It's before the circular turns, that's where it is. It's actually one that I may have already gotten a couple of times, so I'll see if I got it. But I'll try and tell you where it is. It's along the middle path in Cortex Castle. That's where it is. Now, Cortex Castle is another one of the trickier courses. At least compared to Hot Air Skyway, it's way more difficult. Because now we have spiders that block our path. Very trolly turns pretty much everywhere. Very trolly lines to take, and before in the Relic Race, this was one of the worst Relic Races in the entire game. This had lots of stuff to do. It was not fun. So anyways, you want to proceed to around this spot and then bonk into the wall here. And that if you were playing the game regularly, that's where your spot would be, where you would get your I did that on purpose because I didn't want to. In case you're wondering, this is the way to do this turn properly. That's probably the worst of the turns here. So this is probably the trickiest part here. Getting a double boost and then turning around right to get this very sketchy turn onto there. That's how you have to enter that shortcut. If you don't enter that shortcut, then you lose a lot of time doing that. And that's a new strat. Ooh, we could pink through here. That's a new one. It's actually a good time to lose it too, because look at that. So there's that pink glitch I talked about earlier. It's not really a glitch, it's just a little tech, but if you keep your speed going around turns, it's possible to keep your pink for a lot longer than what you should be. That's because whenever you do a drift in this game, you add additional speed to your boost as you go along. Again, you have to do this as our turn. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I don't mind losing it there. Still a 48 lap. Nice. See, because that was so fast in an initial thing, I could just go for that, show you where the Beanox grade is, and just go for that later. I got the Beanox grade, I think, during either my adventure mode or time chat. I don't know when I got it, but either way, I guess one thing I could have done is just go for all the Beanox crates early, but keep in mind, I was doing this sort of blind at first, so I didn't know they were there. So that was new. Ooh, Trophy's a little bit closer this time around, so the Oxide Ghost is probably going to be really tough. Of course, Dragon Mines was so annoying just because of this one stupid turn, and it also had this one stupid shortcut. But it was not necessarily because of that. It's because of these stupid mine carts. If you remember in the last video I had to cut out a bunch. The mine carts just kept on squishing me. It was so annoying, and I found out you just barely make the cycle for one of them. So if you don't take the perfect line, the mine carts just straight up destroy you. And that's for losing just like 1 second. It's so annoying and I don't like it. But anyways, this is one of the more painful levels to do, probably. It's always been one of the most painful levels for Dingodile to do a speed run of. And probably normally would be another Coco level in the original game, but I'm not doing that. I may resort to that if it's absolutely necessary. In case you're wondering, you have to enter the shortcut like that, otherwise it'll be really good. Of course, I honestly don't care. That's probably one of the worst spiders to avoid. It's that one, that reason that you can't always do a fast turn through that. Okay. Again, I can beat End Trophy by taking the shortcut, so I'm not too worried, but Oxide is one of those where I'll have to probably play perfectly to win. Sometimes there's 5 seconds of leeway here and there, but if you get the perfect drift through that. I've been so down by that like 3 times now, goodness. Nearly didn't get the drift into there. The reason why I was failing that shortcut so many times before is because of that. There, I got the drift through that at the end. And another 48 lap to end it off. Could have been better though. So I definitely didn't beat Oxide, but I beat End Trophy stat, which is all that matters. So we can move on to Oxide, and now all we need is one perfect run to get it done. Again, because this is early on, I may practice all 3 laps again. I didn't do it as much with Dragon Mines because I kept on getting stuck on lap 1 or 2 of a couple of the tracks, so that was definitely annoying. Once again, my original time is faster, just because of other stuff. I think my other time was actually slower by Oxide. Either way, I have 3 seconds over Oxide, so I have, from a perfect run, about 5 seconds of leeway, so maybe 1 bonk, but not too much. Definitely not a spider attack, so I need to be careful of that. That wall was, in particular, was the one that stopped me before. Of course he does the shortcut. Why would he not? So I have to take a safety bonk here whenever the spider comes out, because otherwise my pink will go way too far. Either that or a hop. I probably should have done the hop. Maybe that would be a little bit better. Looks like both of those times break even, so I honestly don't know why Oxide's going to the side. I'm pretty sure the left is slightly faster than the right. Had to brake drift in midair there, by the way. Oh gosh. Okay, I still made it. That's actually a lot easier than it looks then. Oh gosh, no double drift here. That's not good. I'm gonna have to change my line on this slightly. We still made it. Finally he's going up. Only took you 3 laps to do that.
Hey, you call that racing?
Sub 230 at the end there. Very good finish. Yeah, that was really fast. Nice. Looks like we're back in it, boys. We're doing a lot better than I thought we were doing before. Alright, and now time for one of the trolliest boxes in the entire game. At least that I found out. This is one of the jump boxes, and the only way to get it is in a jump, as you might have guessed. But not just any jump, a weird jump. So this one is literally hidden in the poison of Engine Labs. It's before the first big boost drift. There's, I believe, 2 different ways of getting it. One could be from the left, and one I believe you have to jump it to the right. Either way, you have to jump into the acid in order to get it. So, very obnoxious as a result. And I'll show you where it is. It's like right around this spot. Ooh. Right there is where you have to do it. Look, thankfully it wasn't actually that hard, but probably the biggest part was actually finding it, and I did hear it break, so that's good. Of course, we're doing the purple trick here to get some more speed boost. Surprisingly, that went a lot better than I thought. In case you're wondering, that's again one of the worst Beanox hiding locations, because you would not see that unless you unintentionally or intentionally went in there to check it out. Because after you don't find it anywhere else, you would have to stop checking. Obviously, having me go and find all those would take way too long, which is why I took the liberty of doing it myself. Well, somehow I kept that through all that despite hitting the wall. Engine Labs is another one of the easier tracks to keep pink for because you get pink super early on, so the pink trick is really how you're gonna get a lot of speed on it, so just a lot of drifting around these corners. Making sure not to bonk a wall. Bonking a wall is really costly in Engine Labs because of that. The barrel as well is also another costly one. But sometimes, as you might have saw, you just lose pink there for no reason whatsoever. Thankfully, we could use this as backup to get the good pink back again for the rest of this section. It's only slightly faster than taking the other route, just because you take it early. Ooh, Dr. N Trophy was the one on the top of the leaderboard this time. That's interesting. I thought Engine would be at the top here, but guess not. Oh, what do you do sometimes? But that was his 3:00 time. He has 4:50 actually, but there we go. And just keep in mind, we had to waste time to get the Beanox crate. We still beat N Trophy by 10 whole seconds, so this might be another one of the easier Oxide ghosts to take down. because I could save so much time over him by getting the pink boost trick successfully through a long straightaway. It's kind of tough to do, but if you can keep it for a long part, it saves a ton of time. Looks like the 1 and 3 is best for this first part. And this is the most important part right here. Gotta make sure you keep pink in this section. Oh, I'm just gonna take that as a restart. I shouldn't be falling there. That's just my dumb fault. It's not me unless I make at least one stupid mistake. Yeah, that seems to be the best setup there. 1 followed by the 3. That's basically the number of drifts I'm doing, I guess. Oh, jeez. Got freaked out on what to do, so I might lose... Nearly lost my pink there early. Okay, well, now that I'm doing really well, I can kind of figure out that the first barrel cycle is nice enough to me where I'll always get a good spot on it later. Of course, this turn's gonna change big time with pink, but we could just jump there to keep it rather than drifting. That's bad. Knew it. Saw it was coming. With only 1 barrel cycle to worry about, this track's not quite as bad as Sewer Speedway was with its barrels. Of course, and the mine carts, let's not forget about that. It's not quite as bad as the mine carts were. The mine carts were like one of the worst things ever put into a video game, like honestly. The minecarts cycles were really unfair to me. Like, keep in mind, everything's the same. As long as you do really good, the cycles will be the same every time. The big problem, though, is that both of the first 2 cycles on the minecarts in Dragon Mines that gave me problems were so hard to evade. You literally had to play perfectly in order to catch them. Otherwise, you just straight up died, and it's not fun. And that's not as easy as it seems, by the way. In case you're wondering, yes, that's the pink shortcut I was telling you about earlier. Instead of going off the big ramp, you could go down there. It actually saves a couple seconds over going the long way because you activate the boost sooner and you cut the turn at the same time, so... If you can do that 3 laps in a row, it saves a lot of time, though. It becomes really tricky to do with pink because you have to jump earlier if you have it. But if you don't have it, then it takes a while to do other stuff. Wow, 2:29 on Oxide's time. I'm guessing the reason is he doesn't do the drift boost as much. Can't believe I had 10 seconds of wheelie. So this is probably going to be another one of the easy Oxide Ghost, assuming I don't drop into the pool like that again, like I did on End Trophy. I could have probably actually still beat him, but how was I supposed to know that? I wanted a good run, so I'm bother. Yeah, see, 1, 2, 3. Knew that's the fast spot. Of course, the most interesting part about this is going to be what will happen when we get to the new tracks. The new tracks are all time trials devised exclusively by Beanox. I guess except for ones that might be from CNK, but other than that, I don't really know. Yeah, I have to take a fall here. Again, I have 10 seconds of leeway over Oxide, so I can actually do bad and still be good. The pink boost is not really expected to be a trick that you're able to pull off, so when you pull it off successfully, you get so far ahead of Oxide, it's actually crazy. Of course, knowing that, the Veal time's probably going to keep that all the way through the entire race, which makes it so hard because there are random times where it'll just do that. I missed that, by the way. I probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, jumping over the pit there to save time going around there. Keep in mind, I get random pink boost times throughout the entire thing, so depending on how good I am with pink boost, I could do really good against Oxide here. Again, I'm not sure if this is a glitch. This is technically an unintended trick because the game originally intended you to never keep pink for this long. It normally fades after a determined amount of time, but if you keep drift boosting and hitting regular boost while you go, it'll keep adding to your total boost counter, so you'll actually get more speed by doing that. That was probably the closest there. I could have easily messed that up. That was really scary. Another 48 lap. That was a 48 first lap, by the way. Goodness, that was really good. Another very good time to end off the track with, and just like that, we are done with that. Oh, so one more track now, Oxide Station, and we are done with the Crash Team Racing tracks, and it'll be on to the Crash Nitro Kart tracks. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. I meant to do this. Yeah. Well. So Oxide Station being Ox track is another one that you could potentially see if you go fast enough, because it'll be right in your way as you go along. So it's one that won't be that bad. If not one of the easier ones to get. So I'll focus on the other one while I do this. Oxide Station, in case I didn't already mention before, this is a track that I think out of all the other ones is definitely tough, but if you're really good, this is one of the easiest tracks to think through. Like, for most professional people, once they know what to do, they can probably keep pink through this track, which is the game's form of special boost, more quickly. And that's basically what I'm doing to get that, so that was really quick grab, by the way, on that Phoenix crate. I liked that a lot, so yeah. And the reason why I say this is the easiest track to keep pink on is because you get so many boosts throughout the entire area that all you have to do is jump through the entire track and you'll automatically keep the boost through most of the corners. Of course, if you were to add drift boost to it, it could be even faster. But obviously we don't want that, because if we do that, and then try and drift, we may end up doing really badly. So for me, it's probably just gonna be doing all the trick boost and doing all that other stuff. This is probably where I usually lose it, because there's lots of turns in there, especially early on. And also, yes, if you hit a single wall, your entire boost is lost. It's almost instantly. And this one you want to jump for after getting the initial boost. And this one is just a free turn right and you'll have that. That bonk I almost want to happen on purpose, just because Otherwise, I may bonk into a later turn that's really bad. Nice quick turn there, by the way. When I mentioned that probably wouldn't be possible in the original, I mean it. Like, the turning was so bad, even with air mobility, it was really hard to turn on some of the tracks, so they definitely changed that up in the remake. The main problem I've actually been having is I sometimes fall down that one spot corner after the second last jump after you first get pink on this track, because I cut the corner a little too early, and that's kind of dumb in my opinion, because I usually don't have that happen.
You call that racing?
From the looks of it, we opened up Jock. My bad. From the looks of it, we opened up Anchovies time again. That was actually a really quick Beanox crate grab. I think that was one of the fastest we've ever done that. Yeah, this is probably going to be a little bit tougher. Not hard, but tougher because of how fast you can go. So you could lose lots of time from not having speed. So I'm not surprised that this is at least easy time. In the original game, this could become one of the easiest times to beat, because in time trials there was a shortcut that you could do where you hop up to around the right side at around this first checkpoint, right around this spot right here. You turn around, you head the opposite way, and then you head backwards. And then from there you kind of just do stuff after that, and that's the idea of it. Tried to go fast, but he forgot that you can't turn really good when doing that, so yeah. I'm guessing I did make a small mistake early on, so Entropy somehow caught up to me at the beginning, but we'll catch him later. Oh, he kept pink for this turn as well. No wonder why it's so hard to beat. Yeah, this might be one of the better Anchovy ghosts so far that I've had to challenge. Doesn't help that I can't even drift around this turn. Guess that's probably the hard part about this track. I actually thought the Oxide time would be easier than this, but looks like I may have already lost to it, seeing as how the Anchovy time is only 3 seconds behind me. Okay, now I kind of kept the average within Trophy's time of going in that same spot, so should be okay now. Keep in mind, you could pink boost quite a bit in the original as well, but I think it was much harder to keep back then. I think it would run out sooner or something like that. Something like that, I think. Again, you want to jump these corners because they're way too hard to do otherwise. That's probably the worst part for Dingodile, had he have to do this without boosting. Sometimes you can lose pink there, and I'm not sure why, but it's kind of annoying when it happens. Alright, that's about the spot where Anchovy lost it, so I should be fine now. Okay, it took a while, but we're a few seconds ahead of him now. But he definitely gave us a run, so our first lap must have been really bad. But then just like that, we improved by another 4 seconds. Quite crazy that I had a faster first lap time or first total race time on some of these courses, despite having to get the Beanox crate. But yeah. Oh, actually, he's not that much faster. Only by 3 seconds. Wow, Dr. Anchovy and Oxide are really close today. So I have about 4 seconds of leeway on this one from my current PB, though there's probably so much more that could be done, such as getting a better first lap or getting an ink boost. I could probably save time over this, but I think the big play is probably going to be in that third turn right there. The jump strat I have on that is probably the best. You know what? I'm gonna do this. Since Trophy started with that, we'll follow that as well, and then we'll kind of do our own thing and get pink there. Okay, so there we go. Oh, jeez, that's bad. Oh, we had to do a break for it there. Oxide's definitely not gonna let up, even on his own track, which has been proven to be one of the easier tracks normally, but yeah. Whoa, goodness, that was scary. Okay, he lost pink at about the same spot that I did. Okay, I made a mistake there by not doing that. There's his wall bonk. That would be one of the turns where I think he would struggle normally anyway, so that's really good that I did that good. Okay, I did that much better this time. I think he actually bonked in one of those spots just now. Slowed down for like a split second there. So I think I got this. Yeah. No pink glitch there, thank goodness. That's always really annoying when that happens. Of course, sometimes I lose it naturally by just bonking the wall. I've done that before. And that's like one of the worst times to lose it. Okay, that's always the spot where he seems to catch up every time. Yeah, that's right there. That's probably where we catch up and make up most of our time, because that normally is one of the harder turns for Dingodile to do properly. So this has been a really good run so far. Okay, I have to go for only 1 or 2 here. Hey, it's better than not getting any drift boost at all. Huge corner cut there. Oh, I kept it through that section. Jeez Louise, that was so good. Even though I was just once, that probably did enough time to save like 2 seconds over my previous best.
You call that racing?
Yep, so I think that was a new PB. Yep, 320, that's a PB. By 3 whole seconds. Nice. We destroyed Oxide. That was actually one of the easiest tracks to do so far overall. Alright, on to Crash Nitro Kart and Infernal Island. This is where things may get a little bit more difficult. There were time trials in Crash Nitro Kart, but the bonus tracks in particular are the ones that I'm most worried about, because those are new Beanox crate ones. So while the end trophies time will still be easy, the Oxide time is probably going to be deviously difficult. I'm not ready for that. Especially considering I already have problems with drive-through danger because of the amount of tight turns you have to do. It's crazy. Then again, though, most of them are actually pretty easy. There have been a couple of problems so far, though. So for Infernal Island, you want to play through the track until you get to about this point with the arrow on the side. And you want to kind of go off to the side right here, and there's a Beanox right there, and we'll take the warp to save some time with a boost. And yes, I found out that boosted around the track via the side actually wastes time if you're able to keep pink. In the original game, it was slightly faster by not much, but if you were playing the actual Crash Nitro Kart, it would be faster by a few seconds. And also, again, another one of the easier tracks to keep your purple for, because this is one of the ones where you could just zigzag through the entire course and do really well. So this is more or less not a hard course at all, just a test of what's the best line you can hold and how far can you hold your boost. Even if we're only doing 2 boosts at a time, it still helps that we're doing it. If we can go for free, we'll definitely go for it. .32 lap at the end there. So, pretty easy crate to get and pretty easy level to do, which means the times are probably gonna be not kind of dramatically hard to beat. Now, in Crash Nitro Kart, things were a little bit interesting. When they went for the time trial times, not time trial, but the relic races, the relic races were some of the easiest races ever to do. Apparently, the times by the developers were set so low that you could, like, literally get so many free platinums in that game. It's crazy. In fact, that makes 101% in Crash Nitro Kart, the original, by the way easier than this game's version of it. Of course, a lot of these places didn't even have time trials before. Most of this is just gonna rely on heavy corner cutting and keeping the fire for the entire race, which I could probably do. Like I said, this is one of the easiest races to keep it for. It's more or less just trying not to run into a wall and you'll be fine. What I like about this too is as your boost gets bigger, your fire gets bigger as well. Again, this is how we're gonna save most of our time over our opponent's time trials and trophy and Oxide. I guess the one problem I have with this game's time trial system is that N Trophy decided to not record his voiceovers again, because he used to speak whenever you get one of the time trials. He would say something like, "Back again, I see. Well, let's see if you can beat my fastest time on this track." Something like that. I remember it so fondly. In fact, if you were to go to the original, that's one of the phrases he would say as well. And he says something else as well when you beat his time. Too bad Oxide doesn't say anything when you beat him. That would have been really cool. Maybe they'll add it in a patch later to add that as a unique thing, because that would be really cool. Wow, this is even easier than the previous one. And it's just because that trick that I mentioned exists. Like, without the trick to be able to boost really quickly and just hang on to a boost for extended amount of time, it would actually be this would probably be one of the tougher time trials for you. But by now we've learned so much on how to keep the boost that it's really easy to keep it now. Which is good. We need a big break after what Dragon Mines gave us. Dragon Mines was one of the worst tracks by a mile. Not fun by any stretch. In case you're wondering, yes, I do a drift to the side there just to get the fire there. By the way, the bottom route's not really faster than the top route by much. I think it's like only a second faster, since you do get a good boost up there. Keep in mind, Crash Nitro Kart was the first game of the racing art series of the Crash Team Racing kind of series to introduce the stacking boost mechanic, where the better you do, your bigger your top speed will be. So it kind of added a really cool skill element to the game. It's probably actually why a couple of people liked Crash Nitro Kart, because of its unique boost stacking mechanic. Sub 140, yes. That was nice finish there. Since it's been a while, we're gonna finish with a couple of things that I probably should have mentioned from earlier. So I mentioned that I was trying very hard to unlock Spyro as one of the characters. Well, we actually managed to lock him, and not just that, a couple of carts as well. So I thought I would show that off, as well as unlock a couple of other characters, since I haven't done that in a while. So let's go to the hit stop and just buy random characters and see what happens. Now, we can buy either this or this, but I prefer this, so I'm gonna go with that. Baby Coco, yeah. Baby Coco's one of my favorites out of all the babies, so we'll get her. She even has a mini phone. That's cool. And sure, we'll lock Baby Crash while we're at it. Okay, then. In case you're wondering, we do want to try and unlock all the characters at some point, though I'm not sure we'll lock all the skids, because it'll take a long time to do that, so, yeah. Really tricky. Of course, Hunter, one of my favorite characters I watch, so definitely a good one to unlock, and Nasty Nork. Oh yeah. I will say Nasty Nork got updated quite a bit when he got released as a character here, as well as in Spyro Reignited Trilogy. He looks a lot more meaner than he used to be. definitely a fun character. And then, of course, I want to show something off here, so we're not going to do this, but we are going to show you one of the characters we unlock. And there we go, we have Spyro, and we also have his space skin. So we'll put him in just to see that, and then here's one of the other things I locked with his thing, Atomic Orange. I'm not going to actually use that, though. Now, like I said, I was originally going to use him as a character, but I decided not to at the last minute, because that would confuse boys. So for now, I'll just stick with Dingodile from now on. It is what it is, but oh well. It'll be fine. I think it's been really fun so far. Maybe in a later video I might do more gameplay with other characters, but other than that, nothing much else to say. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed, comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.